Gotta hold it down until a green light comes on.
Hey folks, welcome to Draw 3 of the Blazing Leaves here at Nutmeg Curling Club. I'm Ed Simia, and with me is Dave Bykowski. Hey Dave.
Ed, how you doing?
Not too bad. Are you getting the... Okay, well we won't worry about that for now, but we're able to hear each other. So.
As long as you can hear me, that's probably good enough.
Yeah, I can hear you in the one room without the... Yeah, so if I have to, I can move one of the... So we have 2 games on this draw. So the next 3 draws, we're going to have 2 games each, one for each of our pools. Over on Sheet A, we have Team Dunnam playing Team Mooney. Both teams are 0-1 right now. And on Sheet C, we have our feature game, which is Team Glessner against Team Kwan, both at 1-0. The way we have the stream set up, you should be able to see both games on the left side of the screen, but the houses on the right, at least for now, are the Kwan and Glessner houses. So we're in the first end in both games. They just started in the last 10 minutes or so. Actually, looks like on A, Mooney must have scored in the first end because they're throwing the first rock of the second end, but we don't have a score up there yet.
They were playing a pretty open end there. A lot of hits and rolls out, a lot of rocks taken out of play there in the first end, so I wouldn't necessarily expect too much. I did not happen to catch who had hammer there in the first end.
Okay, I've actually managed to get you in. There's a volume on the other one that if you scroll up a lot, you're going to push it forward almost. Yeah. Yeah, might be going the wrong. There you go.
Well, in the fifth end.
You might hear some echo too now, but you can turn it down and adjust it.
Yield to the chair.
3 ends up.
I yield to the chair. He's running this event. He runs this event.
So.
Yeah,
this is going to be a very interesting pool the next couple games.
Yes, you got a good team, man.
You can see
there's no doubt.
Top seeds in the pool, or at least the 2 teams that were the higher seeds in the first round games, both lost.
Yeah, if you look at the World Curling Tour rankings, seeing that Team Dunnam has been a solid number 4 in the country, it was definitely a surprise to see that result from Draw 1.
Sure. They were playing our Team Kwan, and it was their first game on the ice, and playing the home team's never the best way to start, but...
I mean, it sounds like from the recap
shots
there that Kwan really took advantage of a couple of opportunities to put up some big numbers on the board.
Yeah, for sure. So we're down to skip rocks on sheet C. Kwan with hammer is sitting 1. It is open here. Michael Glessner trying to play a downweight hit. Looks like he has it. Curling a bit more than he wanted, though. And just kind of ticks off the yellow in the back button.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate there. It looked like a really, really nice weight there. Just a little bit of overcurl, I think. The first 3 ends seem to be really key here on this ice, that the speed really is kind of acting one way, maybe not quite as much curl for the first 2 ends, and then a pretty significant change by end 3 that stays throughout a lot of the rest of the game.
Yeah, the ice definitely got faster and picked up more curl as the game went on a bit. And then, yeah, plateaued around 3rd end, 4th end. So Robert Kwan throwing his first rock. I imagine looking to sit here, 2 here, if he can get under that center guard.
Really nice line on this one. Pretty much right on the broom. If anything, a smidge outside, but yeah, I think you're right.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of weight on that one. And that might be partially due to the way the ice does speed up pretty quickly in those first couple ends.
Yeah, it is tough to read out there, those first couple of ends there. Once it does adjust upward, it's pretty sudden.
And I have a feeling we kind of jumped into this end halfway, but I have a feeling they were throwing that line a lot.
Yeah.
I would think so. Certainly they had a few rocks just for the pregame practice going along this side.
Also true. Yeah.
Apparently they're working with the designer of every game. They'll give him feedback on what the things are doing, what they're not doing, and he's making changes as they go.
Good rock coming in here for Glessner. Jams in the back, but he won't mind too much with sitting 1-2.
That's a good placement for it. He's definitely forcing Robert to try to play a double that is going to be really tough if he's going to want to score a deuce out of this one. He can't just nose this one. He'll still give up a steal of 1.
Yeah, I think even if you make the double, you're rolling out because you probably can't make the thinner double. It probably jams on the back yaw.
Yeah, most likely. You got to hit in just the right spot there. I think that's what Sean's trying to point out to him, that it's an option, but it's a pretty tough one.
And of course, you come over the top, you're only going to get your 1.
I feel like the draw really favors Robert's style of game, having played with him for a few years.
Sure. Dave Vikowski plays Robert Kwan on a couple of Nutmeg Curling Club Competitive League Championship teams.
It was amusing. I got to give him a lot of credit. He reached out to me before I moved up here after saying, "Hey, I saw that I watched you playing at Playdowns, and our Vice is leaving. I could really use a good Vice, and I heard you're moving up here. You want to play with us?" So I was happy to do that for the last 4 years with him in our competitive league. Really a lot of fun. Really been enjoyable playing with him for the last few years. Just been a really good back-end bond that we've had.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny, the Robert Kwan team here has 3 of the more successful skips in our competitive league. So your A division regulars.
Oh, for sure.
On the team.
Yeah, John Gibbons has been having a great season so far. He's looking really strong.
Sean has won the league in the past, and who's throwing lead but playing Vice for this team.
This is looking a bit heavy. Is he trying to play to the back? He's got to get a little bit of a rub off. He's got to make sure that it curls off of the top one.
I think he's giving one here. Maybe not. If he can get the roll. No, just a little. Maybe.
Oh, I think he got it.
It's very close. Maybe. And given that they just kicked the rocks, I'm going to say, yeah, it looks like it was 1 Kwan.
Yeah, he's got to be really happy with that result, honestly.
Oh, great shot, for sure.
Looking over at sheet A, again, another pretty open end, just 1 guard up top.
Yeah, they did blank the first, by the way.
John Gephardt throwing a hit here on the open rock.
Let's see.
So I wonder. I can do it.
Okay, Robert got 1.
No, but I wonder if.
I wonder if that guy. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
So interesting seeing Pat Capella go to the wing T strategy, as I keep calling it, instead of looking to throw a corner guard after the center guard, to put one in the house over toward the side. Came up just a top 12. I think this is interesting to see that strategy coming into play when you're down 1-0 in the first. I mean, certainly there's plenty of game to go, but I guess that must
What
just
was
be a
the
style
shot
that they're
call?
comfortable with. More of the wing tee, just tee line over to the
Sure.
8-foot, 12-foot.
I think it's so early that if you want to look at what the other team reacts to, or just feel like playing a safe end, you're only down 1. It's not like it was any.
It's fair, and maybe that is a difference between what you might consider. I might think of that as more of the 10-end strategy. When you're okay with blanking a couple more ends in an 8-end game, you might want to play a little more aggressive early on, but that could also just be the style they're comfortable with.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think this early in the game, you can get away with it, even in an 8-end game. Once you get to that 4th, 5th end, you have to start.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Planning and yeah. That's the whole thing with the a lot of the debate about 10 ends versus 8 ends for the big games is that 10 versus 8 probably isn't a dramatic change. Now, if they ever wanted to go to like 6, it would completely ruin the game.
Yeah. We know that people complained about the time when games were shortened to 12 ends.
Yeah,
oh
12
no, that
and
was
10.
terrible.
Yeah. I think that was the point I said. I was like, 10 versus 8 isn't actually a very dramatic change. But if
Well, you ran some analytics and dug up some numbers on that. I think 10 versus 8.
12 versus 6 is like,
oh yeah,
would be a dramatic change. Like, and you think there were a lot of 12-end games played once upon a time, and a lot of club games that were played to only 6 ends. Those are completely different game styles.
John's come a little bit tight. Now he's going to get this one by. Yeah, that's good sweeping from Sean there.
Sure is.
And
Sean.
Don, but mostly Sean.
And Don. For those who don't know, we say that because Don is regular at sweeping, plays front end, and is one of our best front end players at Nutmeg. Sean skips most of the time, so he's not usually out there sweeping. But yes, a lot of us skips actually can sweep when we have to. So it looks like we're getting a score in N2 over on A.
Yeah, it looks like Dunnam and Mooney are just going to possibly trade draws to the back of the house. Looks primed for Dunnam to open with a single.
Glessner's team clips the center guard. Perfectly good outcome.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Gives him plenty of options to work with the rest of the end.
Yeah, even if you don't think the peel's the best result there, it's clearly an acceptable result. So.
Like, I mean, which is really what you want to do.
Get that set up.
Oh yeah, but over 3, I still really good to get started.
Just coming right in front of that rock. Could definitely get both with just to the right side of nose.
Yeah, definitely not a gimme for sure. And if you do get them both, you're losing the shooter, but he doesn't mind that at this point.
Yeah. Step off for a second here.
Yeah, not sure that Jim Fannin was trying to take them both out there, but that's still a good result. Just keeping that center open is exactly what you want to do early on in the game. Not really make any big mistakes, not really give anything away here. Scott Dunnam over on sheet A with his hammer. Looks like he's just, as we were expecting, trying to draw to the back. And that's going to be good for a single. So Dunnam up 1-0 after 2 ends over on sheet A. Over here on our feature game, we've got Don Malner here with his first Vice Rock. That'll do just fine there. Sitting in a position where, at this point, Dan Tintle can throw his first rock to maybe get a little bit of a roll behind. He won't be sitting shot, but he's looking to try to get a roll behind those guards. That's a lot of roll, though. It's still really not bad. He's kept the center open. That's a lot better than closing things up. If he were to just nose it, that could end up causing some problems later on. Michael opting to have Dan hit the open rock here, looking to get a roll to the center, I imagine. Got to. No, I thought he was going to have to go on that one pretty hard. Oh, he's not even playing the hit. He's actually playing the draw under. So Robert's going to opt to hit this one with his first rock. I suppose you can get away with a mistake like that. You've still got a couple of rocks there with hammer. Still plenty of opportunity for Michael Glessner and his team to get their single. Could even, with a good hit and roll, and you probably need a miss on a run back, you could get a deuce here. Oh, he's popped this one a little wide here. The way this ice has been playing in the early ends and when you get out to the sides, it has a hard time coming back. I don't know, he might get just a little piece of this one. No. Yeah, watching a few other events throughout the season, if you go out to, say, Four Seasons out in Minnesota or St. Paul, you can maybe afford to kind of pop it wide a little bit, and you'll still have plenty of curl to come back in. But the way our ice has been playing here at Nutmeg so far this season, if you pop it wide, that's probably not coming back, especially if you get outside of the 4-foot lines. So Team Glessner with a really good opportunity for a deuce here. That's a nice shot. That's very well judged there by the sweepers. Really good weight thrown on that one. You don't really need to come really heavy on that. So they're sitting 2. Robert's got an opportunity to double these out. He's made this shot plenty of times before. And if he does it again, he'll manage to force Glessner to just a single and keep this at a close game, tied 1-1 after 3, or 2, rather. Now, just like I was saying before, if you come out a little wider, just pop it out a little bit on your delivery. Once you get outside the 4-foot, and especially on a sheet like sheet C, this is not really coming back. We're saying that Team Glessner had a good opportunity for 2. Well, now he's got a really good opportunity for 3 here.
Yeah, basically just half a rock in the house will do it.
Now, I know this is a stretch, Ed, but would you be crazy enough to take a look at that one just sitting on the outside and say, we can split that on and get a little bit of a tap and maybe get 4 out of this?
I think because it's so far off to the wing, I would not be throwing the shot for 4. This is when the shot for 3 is so relatively simple.
Yeah, and actually you've got to worry about the one in the back there, too, that you've got to beat out, so.
Yeah, not very easy to make that rock that's out on the edge of the sheet split in, but
yeah, and tough ice out there. They haven't thrown that wide to be able to get a sense of what the speed is out there. So
sure,
I can't say just the deuce because honestly, they would have been happy to have a deuce looking midway through that end.
Yeah, Ross one. Keep close all the time. Yeah. Read close everything.
So that takes our score to Glessner 2, Kwan 1, heading to the 3rd end. Good start for both teams, really. I mean, we have a very competitive game after 2 ends.
3 zeros on your line. They were the best lines.
I mean,
Hey, what's up?
he'll wait.
When I first done that, I was like, after Tuesday, after our first Tuesday.
This is the 3rd of 7 round-robin draws this weekend. So we have 1 more draw after this one tonight, and then 3 more draws tomorrow during the day. After that, every team will have played 3 games. There's a potential tiebreaker draw also on Saturday evening. Our playoffs will all be on Sunday. Quarterfinals at 9 a.m., followed by semifinals at noon, and the final at 3. Teams are playing for a $4,600 prize pool, $1,400 to the winner.
Not too bad for the first time for Nutmeg Curling Club putting a cash spiel event together like this and really making an effort to grow the game here on the East Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. There hasn't been an event like this, at least in a while, on the East Coast of the U.S.
Yeah, the last one I can remember was on the Ontario Curling Tour. Utica had a cash skins event for a couple of years. I played in that one year.
Okay, and I think before that I've heard from others from other clubs who've been playing for a long time that at one point they actually had a fairly large cash field in Utica, where they'd get some of the top Canadian teams coming down.
Yeah, Utica's always managed to get a pretty good draw from teams from Canada for a lot of their events for a number of years, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I've played at the Cobb for a few years. Their mixed spiel in February, and they've always had a good half dozen to a dozen Canadian teams in a field of maybe 32 to 36 teams.
Really nice shot, draw there, and really nice sweeping for Pat Capella's rock there, nicely behind that center guard.
Take a look at the live chat here. There is no live chat yet. Okay. If you're watching, feel free to chat with us.
Sean's rock coming in. I think it's going to clip off of the guard. His rocks really do tend to finish really hard once they curl. So that was close, but a pretty good weight there, I'd say. Feel like he was probably going for more like about backline to hack weight. No reason to throw a big heavy weight this early in the end. Sean a little frustrated with that last result there.
Not a terrible result at all, though. It actually is a very useful rock if they ever get to clean up the center here.
No, not at all, especially right now. Those guards can be cleared out pretty easily. These are shots that I know that John Gibbons really likes to throw.
Oh, yeah, if you can give him some weight to throw, he'll be happy.
Yeah.
What's John throwing triple?
So, Larry McCary asking if the triples there. I do not think there's a triple wheel.
No.
Maybe if you hit the top one like real thin.
Just a nice double peel.
Double peel would be great here.
Deciding where he wants to roll.
Well, for now.
Going around with the out turn here. And it's about where he's going for it.
Excellent double peel. And
Yeah, that was a nice shot there.
Really couldn't throw that much better because as the end plays on, that corner guard can be relevant too.
Oh, absolutely. And he hit the broom and got really good movement there. That was a good read by Robert as far as where to put the broom down, because that was, I wasn't entirely sure how much it was going to curl there, but here we are, third end. Ice is going to change pretty significantly. Robert's reading it pretty well.
Yeah, as you were saying before, the wall side on C does tend to be a little bit straighter. I don't think it's quite as straight as some of the people in the club get the impression is. It's a little straighter, but not bad.
I think it's more weight sensitive, that you get a lot of hits and it might hang out there straight. It depends on, and delivery sensitive. If you throw a draw going out to the wall side, though, it's still going to come back.
Oh, yeah. It is true if you have a tendency to pitch yours out to get a little more angle on them. Some people do if they slide a little bit towards the middle and pitch them. It does not react well to any action towards the wall if you're throwing it out there.
That was something I had to learn my first couple of years here, was how to adjust to that.
Peeling again, although this could go into the... All right, good. Got a good clean peel.
Still got it open enough there. And the other nice advantage, he starts bringing that rock a little further up. If, say, you get to Skip's rocks and Robert needs to use that to play an angle run back, he's getting a little bit less distance there to make it an easier shot.
Sure.
Quick look over on sheet A. We're seeing something that we haven't seen in a while at all, really, this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guards. and one in the top 12, I think.
Someone's phone ringing. Is that you? You can turn off your mic if you want to answer the phone.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not me.
Oh, never mind. Well, it's not our our color
A little
commentator.
orchestral accompaniment there.
All right, Don looking for what I think the way they're looking at it, this might be a run back. Make the run double here. It's close. Just gets by the red rock on the top button.
And I can give you a little bit of a live look in over here on sheet A. It is coming down to Mark Moody's hammer, facing 2. He's got to get just a little more than a piece of 4 foot here to tie this game up at 1. Got a pretty good port he can draw through just to the right side of the center line, out to maybe the 4 foot line.
Let's take a closer look at that on the
This
stream.
one's hanging out there, though. He might get a little bit of... No, that's not going to curl enough. He's not going to get a rub. He's just going to get just a tiny rub and right onto the top one. So that's going to be a steal of 2 for Team Dunnam to take a 3-0 lead after 3 ends.
So a good live look in there on sheet A.
We all stay at the same hotel? I think so. Courtyard Shelton. I think it's 11 minutes away.
Robert looking for a run back here from Don. Sweepers are off. Needs to move a little.
Not that much. I think he might have it.
And
just
enough
misses.
To push it a few
Man.
inches. Oh. That curls up another ½ inch here, at least eliminating the red.
That's a tough break.
Pretty solid crowd building here in the warm room for the 5:30 draw.
Yeah, got some folks here locally, got a few visitors from out of town, some of the teams from the previous draw.
That actually includes us. We played in the previous draw as well. Good solid guard there from Glessner.
Yeah, really nice weight there. If he throws that too heavy, it's going to open things back up with the little bit of the rub off the other one up top. But yeah, good weight control from him, good weight judgment by the sweepers on there.
Yeah.
If you're Robert, I imagine you've got to clear something out of here. You want to try to figure out if there's a way you can get a double peel, maybe just only have to deal with one guard. He's also got a run back double as an option too. That might actually be a little bit easier.
Yeah, it looks like that's what he's going for. Given the line, and I imagine he's throwing normal to normal up.
Yeah, probably. Good release there. Right on line.
This is very close. That might oh, he caught his instead.
Just a little too much curl right there at the end.
I actually didn't think it was going to do that. I was afraid it was going to run onto the red and then onto the yellow. But either way, very similar result.
Now, to be fair, he still, at the moment, has a straight run back, and it's not like Michael can draw one in there to get in between.
No, I'm curious with the line that Michael's taking here. Is it possible he's just hitting the second rock to make sure he can only give up one if he makes the run back?
I'm thinking that's probably the play here, and let him play the straight run back just for a single.
Yeah, make a tough shot.
Makes a lot of sense.
Too.
Actually, the other thing he could do is just get a hit and roll, and like I was saying, since he can't draw because of that high guard over there, but if he gets the hit and roll, even if it just comes over and sticks in between, that's a really good result. That's probably the best result he can have. But even just getting rid of yeah.
Sticking's even better, and he did do that.
That's fine.
Yeah. So I can't imagine Robert's going to worry about that. He's just going to either play the run back or really hard to draw. Like, on the overhead it looks worse than it is, but it's still, even from behind the sheet here where we are, that'd be about dead perfect to move it with enough weight.
Yeah, I don't think you can play the draw here. You've got to be playing some sort of hit. Straight run back looks pretty good from this angle.
Yeah.
He's looking at the in off.
Yeah. This has a big advantage of you can miss it and still now you only give it one if you don't make the angle right.
I was kind of wondering if he was going to look at the in off after that result, because for that exact reason.
He plays me enough to, I'll do this a lot of times too. If it's like, this is a low percentage shot for one, let's at least play the one that means we don't give up more than one. It's early enough in the game too, even though he's down a point, that giving up one's not a disaster.
Oh yeah, and you and I geek out enough on analytics that we could look at this and think probabilities and say, yeah, okay, this is a good shot.
Especially when you consider the percentage chance of making the run back, although it's not an incredibly low percentage run back because it is straight on.
And he does like to call and he certainly likes to call the run back. I don't know how much he loves to throw it, actually. He seemed to call it a decent amount these last couple of years for me.
And this is just going to pretty much nose the red, give up one. But not a problem.
That's okay.
And he's a little frustrated, but that's the right way to miss it. You don't want to flash the rock.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still thinking about that run back on the previous shot, how it missed by just that little bit. He hold the thumb and finger coming back down the sheet, looking at us.
So that'll make the score Glessner 3, Kwan 1. Kwan with the hammer entering the fourth end.
Quick look over at sheet A. Still a lot of rocks to go there. Got two that are in play for Team Dunnam, one that might be sitting shot. Hard to really tell from this angle whether it's Mooney or Dunnam sitting one. Both of those deep in the 4 foot.
Overhead, and it is very close there. Hard to say. It looks like yellow.
I think that's definitely Mooney.
Yeah, Mooney is sitting one there.
Important game for both of those teams. They're coming into this one 0-1. You got to feel like if you drop the first two, it's pretty much must-win territory, yeah.
Stop saying.
So, no, just if you want to just mute it for temporarily, just click the volume thing, and it'll turn red. If you click it, it's back on. Click it red. Yeah, off. Okay. Yeah.
Dave's stepping away for a second.
Just to take a drink of water.
So a couple of rocks coming in heavy for Glessner there from his lead. And the end result is they have one that's in play but out of the house in the back.
So this opens up what I think is becoming a new debate with the 5-rock rule. You've got a corner guard there from Sean's first, and now Robert calling for the draw behind the corner as opposed to calling for either a second corner guard on the same side or a corner guard on the opposite side.
Right.
Any thoughts that you've got on this, Ed?
I think it depends how badly you feel like you need to try to go after 3 or even like a really, really hard 2. If you're happy to just play for like a standard deuce, I don't think there's anything wrong with going around on your second rock. If you're way behind and you're really trying to set up a 3, you got to throw a second guard to give yourself a good chance.
And you would just
He gets the second guard there, and the one thing is the second guard is never a bad result because they can't peel it right away. You can come around on your next one.
Oh, that's definitely true, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at these developmental levels, it's probably a good thing to think about as far as those kinds of results. It's not like you're looking at the elite levels of the tour where you can see they can just put the rocks much more like exactly where they want to put them.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, we need 2
shots.
rocks in the one in the house, or we need 2 guards on the same side. Okay, fine, no problem.
Yeah. Like, yeah, so all those basic shots where it's just drawing a rock in or putting a guard up, they tend to make 90% plus of the time.
This one definitely you got to make sure is in there. Okay, that's good on weight. Sweepers are just waiting to make sure to get it around the guard.
With the hammer, it's fine if the rock goes deep. You just really want to get it at least somewhat buried.
Yeah, especially at this point in 4th end of the game, you can get away with that a little bit more easily than you can in the later ends.
Sure.
I'm taking a look over at sheet A. All of a sudden, we had a few rocks in the house, and I think there must have been some crash, bang, boom action. Now it looks like Scott Dunnam with his first rock here in the 4th is going to hit. If he sticks around, he's going to be sitting 3 with Mooney having nothing in play, just a corner guard up on the top left side. It's a really good weapon to have if you've got that in your arsenal to be able to just make a whole lot of rocks get out of play.
Oh yeah, and I think that's one of the if you look at the field there and you want to say there's one thing that separates them from the rest of the teams, it's probably their ability to like bail out of situations.
Yeah, if you've got that skill at second and advice to be able to make a whole lot of rocks move, that's huge. That's a game changer, really.
Sure.
At these levels.
Oh yeah, and
at the top level, it's an essential.
Right. I think there's other teams here that can do it, but maybe not to the consistency level of that team. Obviously, yeah.
Oh, that's why they're number 4 in the U.S.
Yeah.
I keep mentioning that only just because how important it is, depending on exactly how highly ranked you are, being probably number 4, that might get you an automatic spot at Nationals with having to go through the challenge round in early January.
Yeah, I'd have to check if the rules changed. I can't imagine they did in the last year, but generally it's the top 5 teams automatically get bids, then 4 get bids through the challenge round, and then they usually invite 1 team from juniors, like the junior champion if they didn't otherwise qualify.
Yeah, wasn't that Team Strauss last year, I think?
I think you're right. Yeah. Could easily be a team like Senate, although they may qualify directly, too.
Yeah, Senate did qualify directly last year. I know that they really kind of blitzed their way through the challenge round. They played great through their games.
Yeah.
Robert looking for Don just to throw kind of a maybe control down kind of weight, get a little bit of an outside roll. He's got something building here this end.
For sure, and I think there's sort of a prejudice in a sense against rocks in the back of the house, and sometimes for good reason. But if you're playing with the hammer and those rocks are out of the center and they're far in the back, they can easily build into an end.
This one's cutting really hard, though.
Oh, he's got to get a piece
Wow.
to stick around.
Sean can't believe it.
Yeah, just
Curl that much?
curls an inch less. At least you get rid of the rock and you probably jam on the back one.
Really hard movement on that one. Once it went really hard off that
Yes.
center line.
For sure.
Well, Dunn's got plenty of opening for a second chance at this one. Robert taking a look from my angle. I'm thinking it looks like Robert's still sitting second shot.
Yeah, I can bring up that camera too here. Make it a little bigger for you guys.
Now, as always, it's a little bit of a tough read. This isn't centered directly over the pin.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
It's like
It
they
is
say at the
close.
horse track or the dog track, you always have to see where the angle is for the camera, determining who's won or lost the race.
Like calling offsides with VAR.
I guess we could talk about European football now that Tottenham actually showed up for a game.
Yeah, they.
Sure, they had to play Serbian Red Star Belgrade, but
Yeah. Well, look, Red Star last year was had a pretty decent run in the Champions League. I think Glessner around to 16. They made it out of the groups, I think. Can double check that.
I am not sure. I wasn't sure they made the knockout rounds actually in Champions League.
Or they
Maybe
made a long run in the
it might have been,
Europa
it might have been Europa League, yeah.
Well, let's do that.
In any case, good makeup there by Don to get that one out
Oh, for sure.
and
Good
really
recovery.
give the good opportunity to Team Kwan to get a deuce.
Red
Hard
Star
sweep beyond the
Belgrade
tee.
did make
on
the group
Orange.
stage.
Okay.
But then went 1-1 and 4.
Okay.
So yeah. So they're not to make it twice in a row. They're clearly not a.
Yeah,
complete
when you were in
minnow.
a group with Paris Saint-Germain, Liverpool, and Napoli. Come on, that's just not fair.
Not where you want to be if you're Red Star Belgrade, for sure.
It's a lot better than about 5 years ago when they were playing first round of Europa League qualifying
Sure, mhm.
and losing even.
Hey, Kelsey. Thanks for watching. So, did we see what happened in the fourth end over there on Street A?
Hard sweep there by Alex Lecter,
Sorry?
and it looks like that might have been a steal of two coming there.
Three.
I couldn't tell from this angle. It was at least
Three?
two, might have been three.
3, Larry.
Yeah, so
but
6-0
Gary tells us.
lead for Team Dunnam.
Yeah, so Team Dunnam maybe showing a little bit more of their form here in game 2.
Mine, my daughter brought this. This is Sophie, our team mascot for the weekend. And I brought it out to the other nutmeg team for good luck.
Yeah, Larry's one of Larry's daughters brought us a little stuffed cat as a mascot for the weekend.
Well, speaking of good luck, that's a nice hit and roll there from Robert on his first. Hard to tell from here if he actually rolled a little bit too far out on the other side of the guard.
And again, let's bring that up and see if we can. It really hard to tell. They may know it on the ice, but don't feel like I'm certain. But yeah, I think I don't think it's showing from the outside. I think it would be very hard to play anything from the outside. Even if it is showing an inch on the outside, it's real tough on that sheet to...
Yeah, you might be able to get a backline weight. That's a 2 guard up there, so you can probably come around there and bump it back some, be able to push that so that it's not going to be relevant to the rest of the end. But that's not easy. I kind of like this call just to draw over to it. It is just behind the tee line, so you can come over behind your own guard and sit corner onto it.
Definitely.
Got to think of this as a pressure draw, though, because if he comes up short, this is a really good opportunity for Robert to take 4 here, really.
Yeah, chip out that top red, and you're getting 3 or 4, depending on how you hit it.
Yeah, and he's heating up the way that he's throwing these rocks now. He's still thinking, oh, man, I should have made that run back in the last end. But good hit and roll on his last.
Yeah. Super's going hard now. This is...
Oh, yeah, they got to get this one in there.
And it's just going to come up short.
Man, that's a shame.
So Robert's going to have to hit this one a little thin. He may be looking at the fact that if he's sitting 2 now, he may be happy to just draw for 3. Because if you are already sitting 2, it's not super easy to make this hit and count 4. So you may be thinking it's likely a shot for 3 anyway. But if you're not sure, I think he'll hit it.
I suppose. It's a little easy to think in the warm room, and I know that the rocks will move a lot more coming off of the center line to the outside. I kind of wonder if you can actually have a better shot playing, say, a hack weight hit, and as long as you get around that guard, you might be able to get a little bit across the nose and not have to worry about jamming on your own there. That's how I think you get your 4 on this. I think that shot's there. If he's not really wanting to go for it, hey, I can understand that.
Yeah, this draw's fine. You have a draw in the center of the ice too if you wanted to, but there is some danger of tapping a red.
I think he's got to feel confident that he's sitting 2 to be able to make this call. Otherwise, if you're only sitting 1, you got to do something with that rock.
Yeah. Final rock of the end on its way. Hard for us to tell the weight out this outside line.
Really hard to judge weight. We saw some problems in the second end out here. That's probably exactly what John and Don are thinking.
It looks like it might be just a little up.
Maybe a little overcompensation on the weight, which is totally understandable after what they saw earlier in the game.
That's a difficult line to judge the weight on because you're not throwing that very often. Must have been a pretty clear 2 out there.
I think so, the way that they were treating it.
I'll wait for them to put the score up before we update our scoreboard, but my guess is 2 for Kwan.
Having a hard time seeing Sean getting the hack first.
Yeah, it's unusual to see Sean playing lead. But I think it shows Robert has a lot of trust in him to make touch shots.
Well, I think that's what they were talking about, looking at this lineup of for who's the best person that's suited to throw lead, to throw draw, guard types of shots, and I think everyone was saying, yeah, that's Sean, including Sean himself.
Sure. Yeah, this is a team that doesn't normally play together, but 4 talented curlers for sure.
That's the thing, you can certainly pick up some results that same way. I played with him last year on a team that kind of had 4 skips, really, when you look at him, me, Mark Zakin, and Don. All 4 of them are pretty skilled curlers. I was plenty content to stay out of the house on that one and just sweep 6 the whole weekend, honestly. So as expected, they did hang that up as a deuce.
Okay, good, good. So I will update our scoreboard as well.
That rock would have to get through too many ports.
Our high-tech scoring system that you've got there, better known as Microsoft Excel.
Yeah, we did finally link the scoreboard to a external data source, which makes it a lot easier than trying to fool around with the menus in our streaming software.
Makes sense.
Especially though we're not doing it now, I think we'll eventually be able to set something up where we can do a single scoreboard graphic for all 3 sheets. And then if you can update that straight from a Excel sheet, it's a lot easier than trying to work through multiple menus of different scoreboards.
So you filed the project.
So as you'd expect with the 6-0 lead, Team Dunnam opting for an open game here, just playing a whole bunch of hits.
No. Mooney doing what they can to get rocks in play, but they successfully move another Mooney rock out of the house.
Yeah, I feel like that's a team that once you're down against them, it's really hard to come back once you're down, let's say 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah, I think any high-level team with 4 people who are capable hitters and accurate hitters are going to be very difficult to come back against once you're down 3 or 4 or 5 points.
So that'll need to happen when you get. Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
Here in our feature game, Glessner is sitting 1, I believe. Yes, they're definitely close to the pin, but all the action is in the button, basically, let alone in the forefoot, which has to be okay for Kwan without the hammer.
Especially if the sweepers can get this one around the guards. Not quite.
It's just going to clip the guard. Unfortunately, opens things up a little bit, too. It's early enough in the end where if you're Glessner and you're thinking, well, yeah, I do have a good one on the button, but the way to score more could be to just get rid of both those rocks and roll somewhere else.
It's possible, but with the look here coming from the hack, I think he's definitely drawing in. I think it's really tough if you do get rid of both of them. You've got to get a really favorable roll to have a chance. I think you end up with much greater chances of ending up with a blank at that point, which is not terrible. Certainly, you have hammer in the key 6th end.
Sure.
But I do like this idea of coming in.
If he freezes to the inside or just taps that, that's a very nice rock.
That's exactly what he wanted to see there. Really well executed team shot.
Because now your best plan for Kwan may be just to try to guard that up and give up 1. Or come down to the pile again. And
yeah,
again,
I think you come down to the pile. I kind of like that call.
Probably with the goal of giving up 1, though, not really looking to steal it the way the end's setting up right now. You never know. You could. Red's rocks are in the better position, so for sure.
Yeah, he's either looking at trying to hit and roll a little bit to the outside, or just come over and draw and over curl and come over the inside of it, right around the center.
I mean, you could certainly consider just if you can get to the inside of that red, hitting and removing everything and sitting behind the guard. But you have to throw a lot of weight, and I don't know if the guards are enough in play where you wouldn't be able to do that. So yeah, he's opting to play the draw instead.
Yeah, but he's coming the other way.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised.
they know the line, and it gets there.
I mean, we know Don can make the triple.
Yes, we do know Don can make the triple. Dave Vikowski made a triple last game. In a situation where we were looking at a lot of rocks, so that was important triple.
It was a little fortuitous.
This might be a little heavy and just sliding to the back.
Yeah.
Actually, just hanging on, either probably biting the back, but it shouldn't be relevant that it is.
So Glessner calling for the tap, get a little separation here. Makes sense. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with how much John Tintle here on his delivery can bring his back leg all the way around across the back of his body and behind the sliding leg.
Oh yeah. Kwan maybe sitting one now.
I still feel like some sort of draw in there is going to be your best guard in that setup.
Yeah, Kwan's sitting one now, but in a way less comfortably than before when Glessner was sitting one, because pretty easy to remove that yellow now. So yeah, it's definitely, I think a second one is good, with the guard being the plan B.
I kind of thought he was actually calling for the guard as plan A and coming down to it as plan
okay.
B.
That works too, yeah. I think both of those
Either
shots
way,
are
yeah,
reasonable.
that's why you come this way, because you've got two options.
For sure.
Except Don's come a little wide, I think.
Thanks, Ken. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Trying to carve this in. It's sitting a little farther out than they want, but here it comes. Pretty.
Yeah, that'll do just fine.
Card. Over on A, Mark is about to throw the hammer, I think, against 4 red rocks.
It's like a lot where you just
Definitely some weight coming in here. It may just be a peel, but that's a...
Oh, he was
just
trying to get them
it.
both, and he ends up just getting a rub.
A very unfortunate miss. All right, we'll bring up the far camera on A here. Or I can't. Sorry, I don't have that.
I feel like Glessner's got to be kicking himself just a little bit. Probably a sweep call one way or the other might have made a difference to at least get one out there.
Yeah. Here you can see on the left side of the screen, Mooney's draw coming in. Looks close. May only cut them down to 1, though. So, certainly a good draw by Mooney. But he really wanted to score there, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's definitely up against it there.
Yeah, definitely will be 7-1 or 7-0. Sorry, Dunnam. After 5 ends.
So I think Robert's looking to come around and sit on the back one, sit 2.
Yeah, it makes it very hard to score too especially if you just barely don't quite sit on it and kind of cover the top half of the button.
Yeah. He's given himself some room to work with. I don't know why words aren't working for me right now. Plenty of room around the guard.
Yeah, they're by. Now they look. Oh, what a beautiful draw!
That's a peach.
Hard to do much better than that.
Pat and Jim looking at the cheat screen over here on this side of the ice, and I think there's a little bit of I can't believe that.
Yeah, if you look at this, it's hard to see how Glessner gets his 1. Actually, what he's going for makes some sense if that's what they want to do.
Thanks for giving Sarah.
Yellow into the red, and then the red ends up on the button, on the pin.
It's good.
If you make it dead perfect. But he's got to get real close to that guard too. Maybe.
Yeah, he really
Right
has
on the
to
guard,
fight
yeah.
with. He's got to come real close. Yeah.
If that's a better option.
He's actually. Did he throw the wrong handle, or was he going at this angle one? In any case, didn't actually get anything out of it. Probably 2 for Kwan there. Looks like 2 for Kwan.
Well, he's still got a rock to go.
Oh, I'm sorry. They both have a rock left. I thought that was hammer.
But the unfortunate thing is that he can just put another guard up there, and
Yeah,
if you're
and you're leaving
Glessner,
with a-
what are you going to do here? I don't know how you even really cut it down.
Yeah, very difficult to find something there.
I mean, yeah, Kwan is totally winning here.
Oh, for this end? Yeah.
A pretty weak attempt on my part to throw some favor to our sponsor, Chess on Ice.
Okay. Our sponsor, Chess on Ice, which is just my YouTube channel, but we did sponsor both our team and the event, so it is not a money-making venture, but I wanted to support the event, and so hey, if we get a little more traffic. Yeah, true. So we'll be coming out with more, or I will be coming out with more videos in the weeks to come.
So let's assume out of likelihood that Robert makes his guard here. If you're Glessner, what do? You don't really have much of any of your own rocks that you can play into the pile. You've got the one that's sitting just to the left of center that you can't even see all of. Maybe out of the left hack. No, you can't quite get left edge to edge on it.
And I don't think you can get to the inside of the rock coming around the right side of the sheet, because Robert himself was very close to the guard when he got by.
He did have a lot of finish on that one, though.
True.
But still, I don't know that you can really get there in a way that allows you to cut him down.
If you really wanted, you could fairly safely run that yellow, which is what he's looking at, because it's hard to do anything where you're going to actually... it doesn't even matter if you remove that red.
It's tough to do more damage than
It's
where
hard to
you're
make
already
it
sitting,
through
honestly.
yellow.
Yeah.
And you make it perfect, you get your 1, because you'll just jam it right on the pin. Probably. It's not easy to tell what'll happen when the.
Sure, but maybe the real issue is that guard a little too deep? You've kind of given him more of a shot than if you hadn't thrown anything at all.
Yeah.
Would you have been
sure.
better off to put a high guard there, maybe?
Maybe a little higher, because that still prevents the draw or any play on the red rock if you come higher. Final rock away of the end. Supers are staying close to it, but not anything. This might be
Hanging
flying
wide, I
out.
think.
Yeah, just comes over the top of it, of everything in the forefoot. So as best we can tell, and I'm pretty sure that's 2 for Kwan, so that's going to be a 2-point lead for Kwan now, 5-3 heading into the 6th end. Sean very diligently putting up the score, so yes, it is 5-3 Kwan.
A lot of good touch shots by Team Kwan that end, but this game is far from over.
Oh yeah, for sure. And here, it looks like Kwan is going into the top 4.
Well, sir.
Well, it's interesting. He did a strategy clinic during his fall training on this exact situation, I think. And we talked about how it's a close call because it's still a close game. Like, throwing the center line guard is not bad, especially a tight guard. Top 4 is also not bad. I think if you're up 3, if you're in a spot where like a blank or a 1 for the other team is clearly a bad result for them instead of just a so-so result, then you're definitely throwing in the house.
Yeah,
In this case, it's
when
sorta-
it's 3, yeah, I think you definitely are. With 2, I can see either way, and that probably
Yeah.
depends on really
The
kind of how you're
teams,
playing
the ice.
that game and
Yeah.
what the style is of your team that you tend to favor.
Absolutely. Rocks flying around on sheet A for anyone watching over there.
Yeah, Dickie Scott's second rock, throwing second, came up just a little short, putting Team Mooney sitting 1 and 3, and after Lecter's double, it's still Mooney sitting 1 right now.
Now it looks like Robert is looking for the guard on his counter in the back 4. Even just center line guard. A very tight center line guard's good there.
I think I'd still kind of like to put another one in the house at this point. You're up 2, you've got one that's behind the tee line. I'd rather put another one up in front of it instead.
I think I'd opt for that too, and I don't know. I didn't see what Robert was calling, so it could have been he wanted that. That's certainly not a bad plan B. Really, your tight center line guards don't get you into too much trouble, even if you're ahead. It's the slightly higher guards that really cause big problems. But nicely placed rock there.
Yeah, I think he wanted that one a bit deeper, but it's hard to complain too much about that. He's given himself some opportunities to set things up.
A bit deeper or a bit more behind the guard, a bit more buried.
I think Robert's wanting to know how much of it John can see.
You should be able to see a pretty good percentage of it. The nice thing is what you can see won't jam.
Right.
So if you hit it, you're not jamming.
Really, you want to be wide, if anything, on this, though, I'd say.
Yeah, you
You don't really want to clear your guard, which is what looks like is going to be happening here. He's on the guard already.
Yeah. Now, the only thing with a 2-point lead, if you're forcing to play to the middle, it might be okay. Worse if this was like a tie game and you did that.
Yeah. So T-line wait the call here for Jim Fandon's first rock. Just a little bit of a bump back. If he taps it back to freeze on the back one, that's a good result. He's come a bit heavy.
You can never panic.
That's still decent, though.
Yeah, rocks in play that aren't easy to double are a good result here.
A lot of room for error if you throw pretty close to the right weight on that one. If it comes at an angle as opposed to not straight on line, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. Keeping rocks in play definitely gives you a chance for a deuce here, so.
So Cody won. He's better than both of us.
Nobody's better than you.
He's better. I think he's better than he's modest.
Younger,
too.
yeah.
He's better than me.
There it is.
Perfectly over the top.
Let's put this one a little bit tight here.
Are slightly better safer than Larry McCary, but it's close.
I don't know.
Larry denying that it is even close.
I think he's better than both of us together.
Possibly.
Like +5.
It's like in you know like in RPGs, it's like an attribute.
I was about to say.
Yeah, it's like a +5 attribute.
And you can just glide.
Doesn't not helping me. So.
If I embroider
An open here to sit two again. A little roll away is not bad.
That's
either. Makes
really
the double
nice
a bit
there by
harder,
Jim
yeah.
Fannin. I was kind of going to say, if we end up with this kind of result, it could be that we're just going trade hits, and it's a good setup for Glessner to take two back and take a tie game into the 7th.
For sure. Not the easiest deuces when you have to make every hit and stick around, but it's there if your team executes, for sure.
Yeah, it is a little tougher when you're the team that has to go and make the draw, make your shot every single time, and your opponent, if they roll out every single time, that's okay. A bunch of half makes versus you've got to fully make every
you
shot.
You always have to make whether they roll out or not. You're just making a different kind of shot. And there is a double here. It's relatively flat and far, but it looked like...
Yeah, and that is what Robert's
was
looking
at
at.
least looking at the possibility. And he might get some roll. Yep, this is going to come right over the top.
Oh,
to the double.
man, that's a good effort.
And Don, I don't think, has any real disappointment that he threw a bad rock, but just because it was so close, he kind of gave a little flourish coming off the ice. Definitely a good effort there. Very close, yeah. As Robert is telling us in the window here, so close. All right, I think Mark just choose a button to sit one. That was his first skip rock, though. He was happy to find the weight there for sure.
Yeah, and he's got a good opportunity. Even if Scott Dunnam takes this one out, I think that Mark's got a really good chance to at least get one on the board. You want to end with a confidence builder.
Absolutely. I might step away for a second and let Alf Winter, who I believe was our registered.
Alpheus Winter in the house.
So let's put Alf on the mic for a minute.
Hey, bring me up to speed.
That's we can still do color show.
Greetings, curling fans.
Well, just to give you a quick update as far as what's been going on, a couple of really close misses earlier in the game. Robert Kwan with a missed run-back opportunity led to giving a steal of one for Glessner, but since then he's been really hot. Set up a great fifth end to get a steal of two, both rocks touching or fully in the button, and now here in the sixth end it looks like after a missed draw and a hit and roll out, we are primed for a blank. Glessner with the hammer here in the sixth end in a battle of teams, both looking to go 2-0 here in this pool. Both teams won their early games, and so Kwan and Glessner, winner's going to have a solid inside track on playoffs.
Now, I saw that you played at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
That's right.
That
Yeah, we
wasn't
took on
Glessner,
Team
though.
Guzman.
That was Guzman.
In our pool.
So where's the Glessner team hail from?
Team Glessner hails out of the Philadelphia area, Philadelphia Curling Club, though I know I've associated some of them with Bucks County as well. But they are listed this weekend out of Paoli, Pennsylvania, the home of the Philadelphia Curling Club. About halfway, I think, between Philadelphia proper and Westchester.
Oh, I see Daniel Dutt is on the roster for the Dunnam Philadelphia Broomstones team. Okay, so Sean's holding the broom. I think he's skipping out of the lead position. Robert's throwing his first rock without hammer.
I'm moving to Woodford, guys. Woodford, Connecticut.
And there's a finishing single there for Team Mooney as they will shake hands. It is a win for Team Dunnam, 7-1 in 6 ends. That's a final now over on sheet A.
And Robert threw a nice hit, rolled to bite the front of the house. Let's see, what do we got here for camera views?
Glessner with his first, playing aggressively, dealing with the biter, making sure to try to draw behind that biter up top. But I think he's going to be on this one, though.
Yes, I think he is, and the vice is not happy. Tapped it to the tee line.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to be seeing a blank here now. You got a biter up top. You got one over on the side. Kwan would be content to put a second one in the house and force the single,
And that's
going to the
not
seventh up one with hammer.
That's not a broom or a hit, is it? You think he'd just draw away from everything?
I'm really surprised that he'd consider the hit here.
I don't know if he is. They're talking about rolling it. There was an indication, but the jam is very alive.
Yeah, I'm a little puzzled by this call here.
It could be a draw. We'll see. Let's see how he throws it. You've played with Robert, and I've been around him a few seasons. There's not a hit he doesn't like to go after, unless it's a double.
Well, he has enjoyed the run back for sure. That's something I've enjoyed the last couple of seasons, though he's probably called it more for me as opposed to calling it for himself.
Oh, he's definitely going for the hit. He's got to get in. I think he knows it. No, that's a good force.
I don't know. He's got plenty of room to be able to make the hit and roll out for the blank here.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's looking at. I guess Robert was really trying to play very risk-averse there. I would have given him very good odds to put a second one in the house, sitting two and forcing the single. But I guess maybe he's okay with giving them a blank here. Probably likes his chances, even if they get two in the seventh, of, okay, we're going to get one with hammer coming home. I will say, ever since that third end, the whole team's been playing very well. Really just a couple of close misses, and I think that kind of fired them up a bit these last few ends. And I take it back, it is...
They shook, but I think they're playing.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was handshakes over there that I saw, but they're still throwing over on sheet A.
And
taking a look at this one.
Yep, it'll roll out.
Yep, he's got enough.
And the blank
Good.
is there. All right. How do we update the scoreboard?
Go over to the Excel sheet down the bottom.
Does that make it 5-4?
So just do that, save, and save it. No, 5-3.
Oh,
Yeah, they blanked.
they're playing the 7th in. Is that what we show? They're in the 7th?
It's 5-3.
All right, I can do that. Well played center guard by Sean.
Yeah, Robert going with the aggressive strategy again here in the 7th end. And again, it just seems like with a 2-point lead, that probably just plays better to their style of game.
We got Pat Capello leading for Glessner out of Philadelphia, Bucks, playing field.
Tight corner guard, very tappable. It's the kind of result that you want to have to start off the end, either a high corner guard or something that's going to be really close for a tap if you're really wanting to push for that deuce. So this is setting up to be a pretty interesting end, just 2 rocks in.
Yep.
It's women.
It is currently the women's room. The women's room is currently flipped.
He snuck by and going deep though.
Sixes of blank. You even nailed the
It
scoreboard.
hung around.
No, I mean, I imagine.
You even nailed the scoreboard real good.
Yeah, show me how they scoreboard's right.
You did it. It's very simple. It's
The Excel sheet.
just bring up the Excel sheet, fill in the values for the various things. Like so, it is set then. Now we're good.
Hold on.
It's good. We're in.
Back to the live action.
Yeah. We're talking about the differences a lot.
A lot of rocks around the power zone, the scoring zone.
Yeah, that last one just trickled in. Either you want to get a good finish on that all the way towards the back or leave that as just short of the rings. So John Gibbons can take this one out here. You leave it
John's
short
been a
and it's
beast
not,
early
and
in
it's
the
subject
year.
to 5 rock rule.
John's been a beast.
Yeah, John has been curling very well here in the early season. This one's going to need a lot of sweeping to hold that
it's narrow.
line.
That's so narrow.
Yeah, he did put that one in a little on the release.
Oh, peeled his own.
So early opportunity for Team Glessner to see if they can convert. Try to set things up for at least 2 this end.
Looks like he's calling for a tap angle raise. Spread his 2 rocks out, put 1 behind guard.
Yeah, really, he's really been calling several of those T-line-ish tap sorts of shots in these situations. It's a really good strategy calls, really good thinking there.
Right on the broom. Sweepers are on it. We're going to bring it right in tight when it gets there. Looks like he's going to freeze
Right
to
on
it.
top.
Yeah, both biting. Or one in and the other biting.
I was just asking. You like that?
As I want to say, how do you throw a great second rock? You don't perform well on your first one. Only it's usually a more graphic than that.
Yeah. Or in a similar manner, what's the hardest shot in curling? The exact same thing you just threw.
Yes, dude.
Dunn's going to try to make both of these go away. He's given this one a good shove on it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it was so strange.
And he's going to...
Good amount of movement on that. He's going to be sitting 1-2 now.
They're going to draw behind that little wall.
Yeah, wisely, Glessner's looking to just ignore those and use his corner guard. It can be easy to get seduced into hitting the shot rock in a situation like this, and instead it's better for your long-term development to end up drawing behind corner guards, really trying to set something up to get a couple instead of just chasing the open rock. Unfortunately, he came wide on this, and this one's not coming back enough.
Nope. It's half hidden.
Yeah, Don's probably got a little bit more than half of this one. But the way this ice has been moving, you don't have to throw a whole lot of weight on it. Robert's saying come down to it's okay. Kind of want to just tap it back line-ish kind of weight, maybe hack. So he's got plenty of room to work with.
And then she's like,
Robert's got the broom right on the center line. Don with the outturn.
but then I wake up in the morning.
Down
Sean
late.
getting on this one right away.
She's like,
I don't know if he's thinking it's light.
guess what? You're going grocery shopping. And I was
The line looked pretty good coming out. That's moving a lot. That's moving maybe more than I think Robert was expecting.
Yeah, I was just like,
Did you
Well,
get everything?
I did. I had to stop and go back like 4 or 5 times. I was like, why did you put real name down here on the list? All the way back at the beginning. It was right. Hey, I heard it. I heard it. You gotta stand by it.
Sweepers are on it. There could be a jam here. No, no jam. Yes, jam.
Ooh.
That didn't work out well. As you can see, the yellow rock dribbled into the back 4-foot with a backer. Robert without hammer.
Yeah, something really looked off on that shot. I don't know quite what he was trying to do there, but just halfway down the sheet, it didn't look right.
The call was to hit and roll left to cover up his shot rock a bit more, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, and as a result, he's kind of put himself in a big pickle sitting, facing one. And with the broom that Robert's giving, I think Robert's smelling blood in the water and wants to finish it off, possibly.
It's more a wide open take than that was. More weight by Don for sure.
Plenty of weight, but this needs to move enough he might be ticking himself out and over.
Oh.
Well, he's actually sitting 1-2 maybe at this point, but they're all
say
sitting in the
so.
back of the house.
Yes, sir. Dan Tintle the vice for Rank Guzman.
He's popped this one a little wide. He might be better off trying to play the draw to the back one on the center instead of over towards the corner.
Still a little heavy. Still a little wide.
Needs to finish.
It's not. It kissed it. So yellow shot. Red's number 2 and number 3.
What?
Give you a quick look at the overhead.
The good news for Team Glessner here is that the center is still wide open. He's got plenty of opportunities with his last rock. Very likely to at least have a draw for one.
Robert going for a draw.
And he can just play really aggressively for a steal and 8.
Yep. Work his way in behind those 2 red guards, possibly.
Yeah, I feel like that's what he was looking at, but instead I think he's just trying to play the hit here on the open third shot.
Yeah.
Pretty good setup.
Really seems like Robert's just not really wanting to take any risks at all. We saw that in his strategy in the 6th end. I feel like we're seeing that here in 7 as well.
He's going to hit it and lose the shooter.
And he's probably okay with that.
Oh, totally. Keep those rocks from behind the tee line, right?
Yeah, I was wondering, like,
Yes.
it does, but I don't know if I.
If we were playing at 8:30, they were definitely like a custom. We're playing tomorrow. There's that too.
So Michael certainly can see enough of this that he can tap this over at an angle and be able to sit 1-2 and really get enough separation so that he's probably not feeling like there's going to be a double there. The downside is that everything's still going to be behind the tee line. Robert could just freeze on top of him and then really force him to a single.
Okay. With the outturn. Slid a little off to the right. That rock cut pretty sharp. They're going to hold it. They're not
Working
going to
really
hold
hard.
it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And no change.
Weight was certainly pretty close there. He might have needed just a little more, depending on exactly what he was trying to do. If he was coming down to it, yeah, he had plenty of weight. If he really wanted to get more of a tap, be able to sit 1-2, it probably was a little bit light. I was thinking that was maybe about back 8-ish kind of weight. I would have thought he'd be looking for perhaps a little more than back line, maybe hack even.
A lot of discussion in the hack here, the house.
But now again, I would think that with Robert sitting 1, he would
not
want to
moving
put
away
a
from
second
it.
one somewhere to sit 1-2.
But he's not here, not choosing to.
Yeah, we saw this last end.
He would certainly like to be sitting 1-2 when the hammer comes.
He's got a lot of flexibility to come down to his own and feel comfortable that there really isn't a double there, though.
Yeah, we definitely did
And if he leaves this as a guard, that's not bad.
No, not bad at all. Looks like it's got enough weight to be in the house.
Needs to come over some.
Oh, it's not curling enough at all. All right, he'll play off the red. Get a quick change of camera.
He's trying to get that guard now.
Oh.
I think he's got enough.
Yes, he has a guard. He almost pushed the red into this being the shot rock. Now,
You look from back here out on the ice, and it looks like there's just enough room to get through the port, but you look overhead, I don't think that shot's there. It's maybe... Gosh, it's really hard to convince yourself to actually throw that, though.
I think the draw is there, possibly a split to take two. If he rubs the shot rock off of that rock in the top 8, he could be 1-2. Here's our magic markers.
It could.
Could.
It's an interesting idea to get a split for 2. I think that might be your best bet. You really need to make sure you get at least 1 here. You can't be sitting there feeling like you have to get 3 to tie in the 8th. I think you're right. I think the split's the right call here. And as long as you throw the right weight at it, you know you're going to get at least 1.
Yes. Michael Glessner in the hack with the out turn.
His draws have been coming up light most of the time this game. He cannot afford to be light this time. I don't think he is on this one.
But I don't think it's going to curl enough to give him the tap. I mean, he'll tap in for 1. Or it's heavy. And Roberts deals
And that's
1.
a steal of 1.
His first shot curled into the guard.
Yeah, I think he was really expecting a lot of curl on that one, with good reason, to be sure. And I thought for sure, once it started to move, it looked like it really wanted to cut really hard. I thought he had a good opportunity at it.
So, coming home up 4. This should be a mechanical end, I would say.
So a steal of 1 that end is going to make it 6-3. Well, you got the throw through after all. It wasn't the intended shot, but that's not a bad result. It's the standard in or through.
This is a no guard situation, which I always fail to do. So somehow I end up with a guard later in the end. Not having to go through the game.
Team Glessner looking for the high guard there, comes up short of the hog line. I think Robert's thinking the exact same thing as the last shot. In or through. Top 4's best. Hack is second.
What do you not understand about money? I know. We just need to get this other set charged up for other later games.
So Sean's second one sitting in the back of the 8-foot there. A little bit of extra sweeping that they probably didn't need. Team Glessner trying to ignore it. He's got a tight guard up top.
We're not playing tonight. Your day is done, but a doubleheader tomorrow.
Yeah, we're done for the day. We come back for 10 o'clock and 4:30, I think.
We're showing up at 3:30 to stake our seats.
Yeah, there's been talk that there seems to be a good showing. A lot of popularity for the All-Pro curling team. They had a big win in earlier. Yeah, Team Smith. They had a big win earlier today, and they'll look to go to 2-0 tomorrow morning against Team Guzman.
I wonder if Johnny's throwing a little steel shave here. No, just throwing it in. They're going deep. They are heavy. They're taking it out.
Yeah, at this point, it's heavy. You might as well just take it through.
I had the pleasure of playing with Don and Tuesdays. Straight sweeper, and well, when he and I get together, that's 4 potential takeouts at any moment. We don't like seeing the other color rock.
A very defensive style of gameplay there.
No, it's just that sometimes the other team gets more rock than we want. Yeah, it's
You're on the next draw, right?
I'll go pedal.
You got the
So wrapping up the final few rocks here, Robert Kwan with his first here in the 8th. Well, ends up jamming there, so it's likely he'll have to throw his last, but he's going to have 3 open rocks to hit.
Yeah, kind of the situation you're looking for. Only up 3 without. Like, that's probably, unless the team makes a mistake, they're probably going to be able to get 3 in there.
Yeah.
But if you have at least 1 open, in this case, they'll all, or at least 2 of them, take a roll here. You just hit the one in the center line, which is generally the easier one.
Yeah, all he's got to do is just get a hit. You know, a little bit of a roll to the outside would be nice, but at the same time, you don't really get fancy on this. You want to make sure that you get it on the nose, at least.
Like a roll outside, or even, I mean, nose. Well, yeah, I think outside. You want to leave as small a target as possible.
The problem is that he's floated this one wide, and now that's going to be a problem. No.
So, Robert Kwan and his team
with the hit for the win.
Oh, he has. Oh, it is. Oh, I'm sorry. They have one shot the way you were talking. I had just jumped back in. I didn't see it. So yeah, he's. That's interesting because in that case, if they both had one more rock, it's kind of argued for likely playing it a little tight and trying to Christmas tree the 2 middle ones, hoping maybe on a hit.
True.
You get like a tick. Maybe you can put a 4th one in, and then he has to hit the stick. In any case, yeah. Now Robert has just the open hit. And go to 2-0, and I think for all 4 of these guys, I know for all 4 of these guys, their first World Cup.
Yeah. It's a solid team that really.
Yeah. As we said earlier,
a few people were kind of keeping an eye on them to be able to make some noise in this group.
For sure. Well, Dunnam upset was a big deal because we maybe that maybe a fight for 2nd place.
And he avoids the jam, and there's the win for Team Kwan, 6-3 your final.
So before we sign off, I'd say Kwan going at 2-0 has actually not clinched the playoffs, but has clinched at minimum the tiebreaker. With
True.
Glessner although Glessner and Dunnam are playing each other.
So Glessner and Dunnam will face off in their final game. So that's.
So yes, actually, Robert Kwan has already clinched a playoff spot.
Yeah, that's true. The way that the standings are working out there. So
Robert Kwan, our first playoff team, actually.
Kind of hard to believe that you can clinch a playoff spot on Friday.
Yeah, but if you play your first 2 games, it's possible. Again, only 3 days. And
True.
Being all day Sunday, so it's certainly possible. So
and that's also going to be interesting depending on Kwan's availability on Sunday.
Well, we already know that. He is not available for the quarterfinal or semifinal, but could play the final. I think there's possibly John might have to miss 1 game somewhere. They have issues, but they've already talked about how they're going to work out.
Okay.
They have subs in mind. And of course, don't have no problem with that. So, I think Robert, his work situation has been busy on Sundays this time of year. So. Anyway, so that's been the 3rd draw. We have wins by Dunnam and Kwan, both teams in a reasonable position. And Kwan absolutely, clinched the playoff spot. The 2-1 teams are playing each other.
Yeah, big congratulations to them, and a really big bounce-back win for Team Dunnam there.
Yeah.
Coming into the event, you had to look at them as being the favorite to win the whole thing, so really big bounce-back. We saw them play the way that we expected to see them play through the weekend, and we'll see tomorrow what happens in Game 3.
Yeah, one of the players in the team basically simply said, that was better.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be back on in about 45 minutes for the last draw of the evening. Which will be all the Group B teams playing their 2nd game. So thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you again for the rest of the weekend.